Let's go to Louis from New Brunswick. Louis from New Brunswick, welcome to the program. What's on your mind today? Louis from New Brunswick, I see that you've muted yourself. If you unmute yourself, we'll be able to talk.
So sorry, that was my mistake.
There you go.
Thanks for having me, David. Great to be here. Love your show.
Pleasure.
About a month ago, about 20 retired intelligence professionals penned a letter to the Wall Street Journal stating that, in their opinion, the Hunter Biden laptop story bore all the hallmark signs of a Russian psyop operation.
Yeah, and in fact, I believe it was 51. What number did you say? 20? I'm reading that it was 51 former Intel officials.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're right. I was just guessing based on my flawed memory, but
Yeah.
you're right, 51. And then I remember you covered a story a while ago of this strange origin story of how Madison Cawthorn got married.
Yeah.
You know, some Russian woman came over to the U.S. on like a fake fitness competition. My question to you, Dave, is: do you think that Russian intelligence services are much more ingrained in our society that we like accept or consider?
So I think Russian intelligence is much more infiltrated in the United States than the average person is aware of. I think our intelligence agencies know the degree to which it's the case. But yeah, I think that there are all sorts of ways in which the average American isn't aware. But it's not just Russia, I think it's important to mention. There's lots of countries whose intelligence services are very ingrained and very slick, but Russia's certainly one of them.
In your opinion, do you think it's possible that the political Donald Trump that we are aware of in the current sense is in fact a product of this sort of infiltration?
No, I don't have any evidence for that. I think, we have to be really careful because next thing you know, the right wingers will be saying, oh, you thought there was going to be video of Trump and Putin planning stuff. I think Trump is sort of a useful idiot for a lot of different movements and people. And
Right.
it's very clear from what we know that Russian intelligence took an interest in Trump decades ago to some degree, as they take an interest in many American business people. It's not unique to Trump. But over time, they clearly realized Trump is kind of a doofus, and his ego and his narcissism maybe make him a more interesting ally in some sense. And
Okay.
at the end of the day, we know Russia had a preference for Trump over Hillary in 2016. Doesn't mean Trump's an agent or a spy or anything like that. He's just kind of a useful idiot. That's the reality.
Okay. I guess that's comforting in a sense to hear that.
Yeah, we don't have to go more conspiratorial than the facts point to, but to say there's nothing there. Listen, he was being invited to Russia decades ago. Russia was casually cultivating him the way they do many, and they had a preference for Trump over Hillary. That we can say with certainty.
Okay, got an economic question for you if you have time.
Sure.
So I got into a lively conversation with a couple buddies at work. Some they're all over the political spectrum, and I was wondering if you feel like Social Security is a socialistic program as opposed to looking at the spectrum, the political spectrum, economic spectrum, as opposed to like a fascistic policy.
Okay.
And I was
Here's the
go
issue
ahead.
with these terms. All right.
Okay.
In some very general sense, anytime you collect money for a program through taxation and then distribute the money, in some narrowly defined way, you can argue it is in a sense socialistic. In
Right.
practice, what we're talking about here are capitalist economies with social welfare programs where the vast majority of the money you make at most incomes you get to keep. Some slice of it goes to programs, and there is some redistribution there. There are certainly folks who get more than they put in, and vice versa. That doesn't mean that it is a socialist country or economy. We might
Right.
just be saying there are certain areas where we want to use the collective good for the betterment of society. And it becomes almost semantic when people say, is it socialistic? Well, maybe. What do you mean by that? But these are programs that every social democracy, which are capitalist countries, have. And it makes what we call it kind of irrelevant.
Hmm. Interesting. Well, Yeah, because I feel like a universal human response of disgust is towards hypocrisy. It doesn't matter like what religion, what creed, you know, everybody is usually offended by hypocrisy.
Yeah.
So if this person was saying like, you know, he's very, very right on the spectrum, and was looking forward to receiving Social Security, and I was like, well, it's funny because that you're so excited about that because I consider something like that and also unemployment insurance socialistic policies where they
Yeah, I don't think they're socialistic. I think they're just social safety nets that come that are put in place in capitalist societies. And by the way, I mean, you pay into Social Security, so it makes sense that you should get money out. And that in that sense, that's nothing like socialism by their definition. So these semantic discussions, in my mind, really miss the point, Louis.
interesting. David, it's been a pleasure talking to you today.
The pleasure has been all on this side of the microphone, Louis. Thank you. All right, there goes Louis. Thank you to everyone that called in. That does it for today. We will take a break and we will take calls again if I have anything to say about it.